Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here. We're coming to you from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. And we're going to stay in Michigan for the time being. Anyway, Jeran Culina joins us. She is the manager, Business Leaders United at National Skills Coalition. Jeran, if you would kind of explain what your organization is and does.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me be here today. National Skills Coalition is a DC policy and advocacy organization. We do both state and federal policy, and I work specifically on engaging business membership in the small and mid-sized company range to make sure that their voices are heard on some of the barriers that they have to workforce. Meeting with state and federal legislators to really tell their opinions about what could change, what could be more successful, and where should we invest more money into the system.
Uh, so that covers your role there too at the National Skills Coalition. So you basically give voice to what your research finds, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Give me an update on the current state of workforce at the federal level. And we do our surveys here in Michigan, and we find workforce is the number one stumbling block for business. Can't get enough people.
The moment we're kind of in a let's wait and see what's going to happen for workforce. We don't have there's no prioritization at the federal level on workforce at this point. There's a lot of conversations about tax cuts and energy and immigration. Hopefully, once the conversations around reconciliation are finished, we'll be having conversations about how do we invest better in our workforce board. So here in Michigan, that's called Michigan Works. There's a reauthorization process going on around the federal investment that supports the Michigan Works system. And at this point in time, we want businesses to have some voice in the process of what that looks like because they have an idea of what they want to do. But I think businesses telling their legislators, especially the legislator who is the chair of the House Ed and Workforce Committee who lives in Michigan. His name is Wahlberg. Legislator Wahlberg lives in Jackson and covers the basically bottom of Michigan, and he is very important in the conversation. So we just want to ensure that businesses are hearing that they can have an impact on their workforce boards and the money that's allocated to them.
It's kind of interesting because it's not just in the workforce area that business is sitting and waiting to see, because what the reality is on a Monday, sometimes it's not necessarily on Thursday of that same week.
Yes.
Yeah, and reallocation is a very important thing. Expound on that if you would a little bit, because I don't think people realize how much is driven by that reallocation of federal dollars.
Yeah, so it's like every well, it hasn't been every 4 years, but there's a process of ensuring that um bills are looked at again to make sure that what was in them in the past actually is what is needed now. So I'll give you a great example. I'm pretty sure the National Apprenticeship Act hasn't been reauthorized since 1931. So, like, if you think about what was going on in apprenticeships at that point in time versus what is going on in apprenticeships now, you'd want a reauthorization because you'd want to talk about the differences of like modernizing apprenticeship programs and the new non-traditional types of apprenticeship programs. So, going through that for the workforce boards means we can say, like, we need more money for supportive services or barrier removal because people have more barriers than they've had in the past, or inflation has hit all of us, so workforce boards aren't any different, and they might need more money to train more folks, or else they're going to have to put wait lists or close locations, which is not great for rural communities as well.
No, you're absolutely certain of that. So tell me your membership. It's I know thousands of businesses is there a membership dues or
No, it's a free service, and it really people can engage however they want to engage. So at the minimal amount, they can engage in our emails where they just get an update on a quarterly basis on what's happening on the federal sphere of things around workforce and how that impacts them as businesses. If they want to get more engaged, we have fly-ins where people can come to DC, where we pay for people to come to DC and have conversations with their legislators or people that sit on House Education and Workforce and the Help Committee in the Senate. And then there's other things like sign-ons that people can engage in as well, just so that they can see their businesses having voice in some of the legislative process.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. So how do businesses get involved with your organization?
Well, they can either contact me at Jeran, Jeranc at nationalskillscoalition.org, or they can go to our website, businessleadersunited.org, and then sign up there. And then I'll probably connect with them and have a conversation just to see what they're doing in their sphere of workforce.
Gotcha. So this is interesting. How are you funded then?
Yeah, we don't get any federal funding. It's typically through private philanthropy around like large scale companies like a Walmart or a JP Morgan Chase so that we can stay bipartisan in the conversation and not have and nonpartisan so
Well,
that
and you
all of our documents could be reflected in the Republican or Democratic Party.
can get in the doors you need to get in that way.
Exactly.
Exactly right. Well, listen, Jeran Culina, thanks so much for joining us. She's a manager, Business Leaders United at the National Skills Coalition, presently housed in Middleville, Michigan, and
Yes.
have your power in light of the storms that came through.
Yep, representing Michigan.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Jeran. Appreciate it. You've been
Thank
watching
you.
the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.